December 3rd is Giving Tuesday. It's a generosity movement unleashing the power of people and organizations to transform their community, which also coincides with the mission of the Northern Virginia nonprofit Cornerstones. Here to talk about Cornerstones and their amazing goal for this Giving Tuesday, our CEO, Kerrie Wilson, and also the Division Director of Housing and Community Services, Maura Williams. Ladies, welcome. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having us.
Giving Tuesday, you have some big goals in mind for tomorrow. First of all, tell us what Cornerstones is and where the need is in the community for it.
Sure, and I think we just heard this is a time of year when people are stressed and feel isolated. I think Giving Tuesday is such a perfect time for us to think about others and all of this and to help organizations like Cornerstones. We are passionate about ending homelessness, disrupting root causes of poverty, and most of all, creating the kind of community that welcomes everybody and lets them see opportunity.
Whenever we talk about Northern Virginia, you think of what an affluent county and area that is, but there is a heavy service of need there.
There clearly is. I think people are surprised that there are people who are homeless. What you may not know is poverty has moved to the suburbs, and Cornerstone sees 15,000 people each year who come to our doors in need of affordable housing, shelter, food, and looking for other supports, trying to find a job. 1 in 4 people go hungry on a regular basis. That's children and seniors right there in our region.
Wow. So what is our goal for tomorrow, Giving Tuesday, and how can people help as well?
So our goal is to raise $20,000, and that money is going to go directly towards emptying the Embry-Rucker Community Shelter, which is a shelter that Cornerstones operates in Reston, Virginia. We serve 11 families and 24 single adults at any given time at the Embry-Rucker Community Shelter. But we're also experiencing the busiest time of the year right now because it's hypothermia prevention season. So we expand our shelter by about 50 to 60 beds per night. We also operate homeless prevention services out of the shelter, as well as homeless outreach services. So we have workers that actually go out to places not meant for human habitation to engage people who are living outside.
Yeah, as it gets colder, I'm sure that the need just continues to increase through the next few months. You mentioned 11 families at a time, but we saw the stat that 15,000 families reach out to you every year for help. That is a lot of families.
A lot of people through many different programs, including people who come to our child care center or looking for jobs and other. But I would say that housing and working with the people at the shelter, that's the most basic, most foundational need for any family. Bring them home.
Well, and especially at this time of year, we're all out buying presents. We have so much food on the table and leftovers we're eating. For a lot of people, those basic things aren't even being met, let alone trying to do all this for the holidays.
Exactly.
So for Giving Tuesday, you're trying to raise $20,000. How can people get involved and how can they help out?
Well, they can check us out on our website, which is www.cornerstonesva, as in Virginia.org. And there'll be many ways to give and support. Our board of directors is matching donations up to the first 5,000, and our goal is 20,000 to help move how many families and people, Maura? How many do we want to help?
I think our goal is going to be, before the holidays, 5 families and 10 single adults to move them home for the holidays.
Wow. And what is your staff like? That's a huge lift for you guys to do that much, right?
It is.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
It's an incredible opportunity to work for an organization like this and really to be part of helping all families. It's what I want for my family and my children, and so we have the most amazing team in the Northern Virginia, I think, and they do a heck of a job getting people home.
If people want to actually get in there and help you, are you taking volunteers as well as donations tomorrow?
We use volunteers. We have 6,000 volunteers that work each year. There were people in serving meals at the shelter when we left this morning.
Oh man, that's excellent. Well, ladies, thank you for coming. Cornerstones and all of the work that you're doing in our area as well. Giving Tuesday is tomorrow. Guys, help them out with their goal. Help families find a home before the holidays. We're taking a quick break. We'll see you in just a bit.